AFB, AFB, AF to the B. What is happening, my man? A lot has come out within the last 24 hours. Firstly, it was a rib injury. Now it's confirmed that he was dropped for reasons such as not attending the team post-match, what's it called, the team song. Gapped it straight after the game. Little towel was when you saw Jacob Laban jump up for the missed field goal, I think it was, and AFB were just sitting there. Anyway, we'll get into it. But yeah, a lot's happening. Even reports and rumours now that he might be out the door right away. Anyway, I just wanted to do a little video on breaking that down and what I think about it. And we won't go too personal, but we'll just talk about the situation itself. Anyway, guys, if you're here for the first time, please give us a like and subscribe to Wise Up TV for all your New Zealand Warriors content. Look, let's break it down, go back even further, right? Since, what was it, the off-season when it was confirmed that he wanted to leave on compassionate grounds. The team worked it out. They nutted it out. They found a way to help him stay this year. Sounded like it was all good. And that was that. And we knew that we were going to have him for the rest of the season. That's cool. But I think as we've seen the season progress, there's been signs of Aden's body language that has told us, at least on the field with the performance, that he's slowly starting to check out, or he's very, very frustrated at either himself or the team. You know, when I've watched the footage of tapes, you see Aden at times when there's an error. He shakes his head, he looks at someone, he just looks in the air like, what's happening? There's sometimes defensively he hasn't really committed to something happening. I've seen him sometimes just be lackadaisical. There's times when the Knights game, he got tackled on the 5th at the close of the game, and he just stared and looked at, I don't know, it was Dylan Walker or Sean, and just like, we all know these signs and body language, whether it's directed to the players, whether it's directed to for himself. There's been a frustration. We have to understand that. I think that frustration has carried on through to, obviously, the team. And now it's starting to impact not only himself, but the team. And not to go to the team, sing the team song, not to be happy, not to be elated after a massive win. A win that you yourself and the team have needed to boost morale is disappointing. Why would you not be happy like everyone else, or be happy for others, or even yourself when you've been struggling? It's interesting. But anyway, so my thoughts around it is, now that it's come out that he's been dropped for that, I think there's clear and obviously signs. It's straining, and it's almost, are the relationships falling apart with him and Webby and management? Possibly. Is there some correlation with his behaviour with the whole JFH signing and everyone buzzing about that? Bit of jealousy? Possibly. Is he a bit maybe upset with the playing group, and that, you know, he's playing on such a high level and people aren't performing? Was the fact that he didn't play much minutes a sign that he took it as a snub against the Panthers? His numbers were low, all that type of stuff. Was that a sign, like the disrespectfulness to not play me more minutes? Or was he being overplayed? Got to remember that he's played almost 70 minutes. Sometimes Webby's been using him a lot to cover for injuries. So at the end of the day, I can't quite get down to what it is. And we might never know what it is. But there's a frustration there. Now, it goes back to what I was talking about, is when he first wanted to go home, you could have then and there said, yep, we'll release you right now. We'll trade you, we'll get some monetary value, or we'll get the money back. You could have done it right then and there back in November. But there's patterns to this guy's behaviour that shows you that you shouldn't trust those deals at the time. The fact that he broke the compassionate grounds thing, that's understandable. We know what's happening for personal reasons. I'm all for that. But should have known from that in itself that something else could pop up later on down the track. Now, I think from an employment arrangement, when people do get jobs and they know that they're signing off, most of the time people kind of dip in performance. You know, well, if you know you're kind of out of a job, you've given your 4 weeks of resignation. Not everyone, I'm not saying it, but there can be a tendency for people to say, yep. And then that performance drops off once they've given that notice, because they're free. They know they're not going to be on the books. They know there's no accountability. Now, on the opposite effect, I think Adam, from a playing perspective, he's been elite. He's been awesome this year. He's been giving everything. He's been relied upon in many games. Even though we haven't won them, he has not been the root cause of the issues. I think he's had his frustrations, like I've mentioned, but he's been in his role. What he's asked to do, bro, the dude is elite at what he does. His job is to hit the ball up, gain meters, so that we can then attack and build pressure from, you know, all those areas. So it's like you can't blame him for his professionalism on the field. I don't think there's been any type of dip in that area. But obviously, behind the scenes, what is happening? And the question is, now that it's come up again, and it's these little things, these quick fire, these almost out of the blue. They're not blow-ups, but when we're seeing them in the media releases, we're seeing them as, whoa, he got dropped? What the heck? Like, it's so out of the blue that it's almost like it's pent-up frustration for him, that it's sort of grown and developed, that it feels as though, wow, we didn't know, we weren't expecting it. We didn't see signs of that. Maybe the club has seen signs of that all along, but now it's come to fruition again. So, like I said, you could have cut him in November and gone into phase 2 post-Adam. Decided to keep him in there. Yes, the season hasn't panned out, but now there's a frustration that's blown up again. Now you're at a crossroads where you're in the middle of your season and you're asking yourself, we've got an elite prop here. We still got a chance. We just won against Penrith. We won against the Dolphins. We go into the bye. We're still in the mix for the top 8. We've got a chance here to still try and win a premiership. How little or great it is depends on if Adam's going to chip in and help out. And we need him. We know he's an elite player. We shouldn't rush to try and get rid of him, because if we lose him, we're losing meters, we're losing influence, we're losing drawing attention. Like I've said, that he attracts a lot of attention because he's an elite prop. He's an elite footballer. So we shouldn't rush to that. But now that it's come out again, and you're at that crossroads where you're trying to make a run, the temptation is to hold on to him. The real issue here is to have a chat with Adam from Webby or Cameron George, whoever it is. Have a man-to-man chat with him, to sit down and say, hey, bro, tell me what's the problems. What's going on? And obviously he can share that, whatever it may be. Now, if it's unreconcilable, shake hands and say, thank you for your service. We're happy to let you go. We'll send you back to Sydney, find a club for you. We'll get you back to where you need to be, what works best for you. Sometimes you just can't bring a guy back in. And if it's at that stage, you just got to cut ties and say, yep, that's it. So if it is at that stage, just cut him. Just cut him, let him go. You're not going to get any benefit from him being around, and you're not going to, it's not going to help the culture. It's not going to help the culture of the club. Now, if you can rein him in, if it's a quick nip in the butt, you sit down and say, hey, what's happening, bro? Tell us what's wrong. Okay, this is from our view. This is what we want standards-wise. Are you willing to accept that? Yep, can we come to an agreement? Can we compromise, or whatever it may be? Can we sort this out? If we man-to-man. You sort family okay? Is there an issue with the family? What can we do? You want to try and get him to the end of the contract, but not to the point where it's going to be to the detriment of the team. If you see the sign that it's unreconcilable, cut him. But if you can get it done, drop him this week, get him straight back into the team. The best thing you can do is to get him on the field, move past it, resolve it. Let's go. Let's go for this run. So those are the two issues I have, or 2 things to sort out. The next part is, this is a good example and a good time for the club to role model expectations and standards. I thought it was really smart by the club to say, mate, this is unacceptable behaviour. We don't care who you are. We don't care that you're one of our best players. We will drop you. Beautiful. Love it. Tells everyone that's below and above, whoever, if you don't live up to the standards, you don't want to be at the team meetings, you don't want to be at the team, sing the song with the team. That's part of your role. That's part of our job, is to show respect for each other, support each other, celebrate, be with each other when we're low. That's just as part of being a footy player as it is, keeping morale high, being a team player. If you can't do those things, we will drop you. That's great for everyone coming through the grades. It's great for everyone currently there now. And for those players that have been, questioning, hey man, Adam hasn't been stepping up, his attitude, well, you just saw now the team are willing to do that to anyone that will not meet the standards. I respect that, appreciate it, love it. So, yeah, for me, it's a simple fix. It's a figure out where this guy's head at. If you can't honestly trust him, cut him, let him go. Move into phase 2. We've got young bucks that need time. We got him, But if you can get him on side, great, because we do need to have a run here. But you have to have full commitment. We can't have another blow up. That's what I'm saying. You have to be so sure when you're having that discussion. There's not going to be another one 2 or 3 weeks down the line, because the pattern shows you. You go back as far as Manly. He's done this before. He's had these blow ups out of the blue, or they've been pent up, and he's gotten the release. So we need to figure out a way. You got to be very sure in this meeting to understand, can you trust this guy? Because the data says it doesn't. You can get it to the end of the contract, shake hands then, say goodbye. If you can't, cut him right now. Now, that's not to discredit Adam and the value he has as a player. I think fans, the biggest problem with our fan base, anyone that has this type of thing, they just immediately discredit everything they've done. Oh, he was rubbish anyway, he was a crap player, that's why he was crap against Penrith. That is just dumb. He is an elite player. He hasn't dipped in form like other guys, like, Ryan Hoffman's, the other guys that played for our club that were here for the paycheck. He's doing his job. Whether or not he likes being here right now, that's a different, separate issue. But if on the field, I care about on the field, he's been doing his job on the field. Don't try and change the narrative and say, he was rubbish anyway. The guy has been elite. He's been helping us. He's been carrying the load for a long time in terms of when injuries have been out. So we can't discredit and be realistic, weigh up both sides of the argument. But there's a lot of that in our fan base where we just discredit people and the good things they've done when something like this happens. You got to be balanced, man. You got to be real. You got to be balanced. But that's all I'll say on the topic. Might get into that in terms of his personal situation. It's not my place to talk about it. I don't even know it. I'm just talking about the relationship, the transaction, and how the club should move forward, and how Adam should move forward. If it's that bad, bro, if things are going that, be happy and move. There's no problem with it. Got no issue with that. But anyway, my thoughts, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think as well. Keen to hear other thoughts and feelings. But hope you guys are well. Stay safe and up the wires. Peace.